This is Deb Helfrich, hashtag redheaded She-Hulk. I don't know. World headquarters seems all askew today. Because I haven't been on the internet for a day and a half. My landlady rations my internet. So for some reason, not able to try to find work yesterday. Because the fastest way to get your money is always to stress out the people who ran out of money. And to do it like so intensely right from the very start that you almost basically guarantee the person's going to go mad in some way. Processing a lot over here by myself. When I don't know how to quite quickly say I know how to disrupt the accountant-managed disease care model of Western medicine right now. We are harming humans so much when we're supposed to be first doing no harm. But profits are by the numbers, not by the person. And living in this world right now, people can figure out how to make something profitable. They don't have to do any checking to make sure it's humane. All of these notifications are driving you all insanely into hypo attention. Just, I know you know about the hyperattention. But also, there's this real deadening of any wanting to close out all of this hyperdigitalization and go analog. It's quite literally like you hook into this dopamine, just like the rats in their cages had the drip, whether it's sugar water or dopamine. They're gonna pick the dopamine. And then next thing you know, they're just gonna be there. Because what's happened to human civilization has deadened humans' ability to be exactly who they are. Life should be pleasurable to the person living the life. They should be doing the things that they like to do. No, not baseball, basketball, right? But do certain kinds of kids have to go into certain sports because of their physical shape? Their proximity to the appropriate field, ability to procure the right equipment. Our whole lives right now are governed by this mechanistic principle. It's absolutely inhumane. And what we have to just start doing is learning the skills and strategies of life-centered thinking. So hashtag well-being philosophy. The old rigid white man never thought to say, we got to get a whole branch of inquiry into thinking about how we think about being human. All that philosophy out there, ethics, epistemology, metaphysics, logic. Well, why is feminine logic plus love intertwined? I don't know why. I want the webcam to be down here. I don't know. Note to Mac. I'm either succeeding beyond anyone's wildest dreams or I'm not. So I'm taking every swing. Hello, Mac. We need a well-being philosophy air thingy. That's really life-centrically built. I'm gonna need you to pull off these things. Need to stop having my back all crunched. I need to be able to have my typing down where my typing goes and have my eyesight where my eyesight, and have the camera be someplace wherever I want to put it, because I am a non-binary person of a certain age, enjoying girl mode spectacularly for the first time ever. I mean, I'd have been girl on paper, but I was not girl in 3D. Because y'all couldn't handle my D's. I'm the fifth force. So, I mean, I've been living in 4D, just incognito, as a sort of able to still partake of and produce y'all's real 2D, slivering into 3D. You're getting some of that vibration, but not as much as you should be. Because you don't see the truth of the philosophical hypothesis of bio-electricity. We need an entire new cohesive field of philosophical inquiry, uniting like neuroscience and psychiatry and physiology. Oh my, the P's. Gotta have a philosopher for that. It's simply about synthesis. We've gotten to the place where all the experts are down in their expertness with their asses sticking up. They don't see other people's expertnesses. And so we're not altering as a civilization. Most especially since everything now has to be sold via marketing, via internet attention, to which there is a fatal reasoning flaw. I need 7 figures. I need a check with 7 zeros behind it. I'm going to put a 3 in the front of it to explain to you the Ponzi scheme of hyperdigitization. If we don't honor the speed of chemistry, the speed of biology, we don't understand how much thinking is being driven by the body and our nervous system, which constrains precisely how much bandwidth we have of all of our bioelectricity in our biofield. You're essentially still mediated by what's happening in your vagus nerve, in your throat chakra. Because you see, nothing that's ever happened in your life has happened beyond your power of speech. It could be typing speech. That might be a voice box speech. That might be sign language speech. It might be fully embodied speech. It might just be like scrolling through. You see Deb's upset about something. She making some, and she really like the be in the full embodiment of how that punch. I was clearly not punching at the screen. No chance. You know, I want the only means I have of communicating with the world to be in jeopardy. I'm always processing, how to not fuck up my own life, because it's just me. There's only ever just been me. There's been no bandwidth for the slightest fuck up. The degree of difficulty of my life has just been extraordinary. And I'm living to tell about it. So please, let's just write the fucking checks so I can have a roof over my head and make this all edited in the appropriate way so that you can piece it all together. That you can get some of these like flights of real logical fancy, but all about how human bodies work that are practical and pragmatic. Okay, that's an interesting conjuncturary. It is. You know, it's a placebo tools kind of pivot. Here's where some abundance comes in. One of them 3 7-figure checks. I'll take 3 the checks with the 3 at the front of the 7 zeros. Look, with 9 million, we'd be set. Humanity. It was 9 million up front. Just a tiny real investment. It'd go into the salaries mostly of the business managers and fellow educators, entertainers, who want to just give away for free as much life-centric thinking as we can while selling it, Robin Hooding this intellectual property in reverse, or version 3.0. Just Robin Hooding, just like, y'all got all this extra money. What Deb has to say is worth you paying for it like this. And then that's going to enable her to sit and talk to you specifically about your stuff. And she's going to produce some content, the non-proprietary stuff only. But I'm going to come up with some of my metaphors about my life in the process of working with you. So I can extract those metaphors and share them with everybody about how to think better without ever really stating sort of the problem I'm solving for you or anything like that. See, I want to be the world's first consulting philosopher. She's Sherlocking with logic plus love intertwined. When all the madness does not add up, and every human suffering from cognitive dissonance, who are you going to call? Girl been ghosted her whole life by humanity. Didn't bust down and give up. She just kept going. Okay, I'm going to think this through logically. None of this make any goddamn sense. And while nobody paying attention to me, let me, how does all fucking make sense? It's so beautiful how it all makes sense. Now it still can turn out quite chaotic. But in this intense time of chaos, if we learn about human potential via bioelectricity, if we let Deb and create a genre of truth tellers who are all into embodiment. I mean, really, I can't stress enough. I'm here to try to sprinkle across. Fuck this trickle down shit. Sprinkle across. It was always incorrect. Because the thing is as we all know, when you're only, taking a watering can to a desert of financial need, when you're sprinkling down, you're gonna It's only going to make it a level or 2 or 3 down. It's not going to water the foundational problem. Sprinkling across, going What we need to do is take down the fences. This is from the Savory Institute. This is just a philosophical synthesis of de-desertificationing via ecosystem evolutionary principles that say we want the carbon in the soil. And what puts the carbon in the soil is the manure gets broken up by the grazing animals. They walk through it, they bring it apart. All of the nutrients start going down. The chickens then come through, peckety peck peck. All of this puts all the nutrients back in the soil for the growth of the crops. And then the carbon gets smushy down and smushy down and smushy down. All natural, all for free. We need to go back to having significant portions of this terrestrial surface of planet Earth being full of a much more ancestral habitat. Cannot let the billionaires all escape with the pensions that have went extinct to Mars, right? They just like, well, we're gonna need a new planet, like 25 years ago. And it's like, well, let's just stop offering pensions. That'll keep money in the coffers. Let's just stop offering pensions. What are they gonna do about it? Their attention spans are so bloody low, nobody didn't what happened to pensions? They went fucking extinct. Just like the personal exemption went extinct from the tax, annual tax 1040 shit. Your whole fucking life is like, a single exemption, it ain't much, but you've been working by yourself, for yourself, alone forever. A little bit of a break you need. Well, by when you need that shit the most, it evaporated, went extinct. On some motherfuckers say so. What happened? It's supposed to be democratic majority rule around this joint. All right. I'm fixing my eyesight. I really am. And that was a lot going on. I'm very scared. And even here while I'm in the joy of performing and doing my work and tying together a lot of philosophical hypotheses about human health and human civilization and how they're tied together and how intertwined they are, and that we'll understand better what priorities to follow and how to stop all this chaos and turmoil when we use life-centric thinking and we start lining things up. And we go, well, is this aspect of human civilization harming human health? Yeah. All these disposable plastic goods being shipped from China everywhere else is in every way, shape, or form something we need to say bye-bye. So thanks for serving. It's useful. Experiment. but hold the fuck up. I mean, just think about disposable goddamn razors. You know how much, we got whole zones of the Pacific basically landfilled in with plastic. We've seen the horrible pictures of like seabirds and otters and all kinds of animals with plastic debris taking their life in some way, shape, or form. Impalement. That shit it's really, really sharp as it gets abraded by seawater, maybe bit off by a shark or a piranha or two. Very rarely, but I'm sure it does occur. Bashing into the sea rocks, like right, smashing into the hulls of these big ships. Yeah, like in the rotors and stuff. And I bet that's what a lot of these sort of, don't test me. I always say, like, I don't know anything about maritime law. But look at this. I'm actually very serious. To think about weaponizing plastic as it degrades, blaming it on the natural stuff, it'd be pretty benign, to be quite frank. So, again, the storms and the whatnot, and have to bash the seafloor. Well, not in the Pacific, not plastic's going to float. And most of it's shaped with cavities that would trap air in it. So most of the plastic, that's why we see it and we call it an island. It's up at the top. So that shit's getting sucked in to the I know it's not airstream and it's not water stream either. The jet stream behind these big, massive container ships. They are pulling in a fantastic amount of the surface plastic, especially after a storm or something, when it's all gone willy-nilly. And then it's the propellers and the equipment of these big container ships, these super yachts. That's what's making all the plastic into knives that kill our wildlife. Power of philosophy, of making new hypotheses, of going, I know about this, I know about this. How do these truths come together? When you think it's just the storms and the this and the that, and it's inevitable. I mean, we want to stop more plastic, but it's really just, no, it's our own fucking fault. All of these machines are operating past the capacity of natural life to adapt to the constant onslaught of assassination. They're all weapons of mass destruction, our machines these days. These dumb phones, worse than any science fiction weapon I've seen ever. Death rays and whole. I know that's bad. But having your life force, your attention sucked out of your brain without you even knowing it. It's like self-zombification, these numb phones, numbskullery apparati. Look, I had to really take the tension down there. Really had to flubber up to go bring us all back from. Most of y'all just ready to hate me, just like, no, don't you dare insult smartphones. Every comedian around the globe able to insult every single person except fat people. But Deb insulting a smartphone. Blacklist her. She likes being on the blacklist. It's the only reason she's staying alive. And why is that the name of that TV show? James Spader, right? Like those Lost Boy guys. It's not even. I mean, Spader. Spader plus the Union of the Lost Boys. The overlaps of the Coreys and the Andrews. That's all them. Kiefer and Jason Patrick and like how many films I'm throwing up into the mix here. Because it just feels like those were the end of days. And I don't know, does every generation have this? I don't really think so. I mean, you just comprehend what the youngins is doing. That's not what I'm saying here at all. I'm saying that I immediately, my whole life, got these warning bells about things that were being said to be awesome that were really dangerous. The microwave, and it was 1977. I was 7. I needed more data. I needed more of an explanation about how this is actually working. It just never sat well with me, this microwaving. It just really didn't. And the results, the food just didn't taste right. It just didn't. But not in a picky way. I mean, yes, but like in a altered way, it didn't taste right. It tasted altered. Microwave food tastes altered. Therefore, super taster gonna be like, nah. I'm in a lot of need. The only way I keep going is to know I have this work that I can do that is spectacular. Even though no one will give me enough time to understand it. I just like a wounded animal went away by myself to die for a decade. Never gave up. Think of never gave up. But was taught not to make well people uncomfortable. Was taught that I just had to figure it all out myself. There was no asking anybody. There was no anybody. I mean, seemed to get what I was asking. It's really curious. I mean, because I did learn to figure out how to navigate the world very, very well until I turned 50. So it's probably some of this testosterone. There's some crazy stuff going on in my left upper quadricep. Crazy stuff. Right. Just listen to SOAS tuning fork session number 2. I got to go get number 3, and we've been listening to both the root and the sacral chakra. Why have we? Because we were not given internet access until like 6 p.m. So now we're doing the most important work first. The work of how does the globe's originator of #wellbeing philosophy blockchain her intellectual property in these times when you already had needed to have been popular in order to get distribution on the internet. There's a real, and it's such a Ponzi scheme. They'll let a few people, and you actually know this, they'll let a few people will win, a few people will gain up into that influencer club, but then they immediately change the rules of that. Then like all the 80% and just all trying the thing that used to work for only like, they only wanted like 5 more influencers. And then like the next 5 years, everyone's chasing that. One rare case that somebody got through. Bridget Hyacinth. Bridget Hyacinth. All signs lead to the Caribbean. I wouldn't be as in jeopardy if I was surrounded by Black people. It's just circumstantial how I ended up, because environmentally, trying to get back to these things that happened in my childhood that needed to be processed, and that I now had the skills to sort of figure out, I mean, not all the resources I needed, that money situation. Human life should not be in jeopardy because of lack of money. This is just fucking wrong. Human lives should not be in danger of going dead because of financial stress. You got to set this game up for every human life to matter. And then all of a sudden, really quickly, everyone starts elevating their game. And the sick people, you know, they have what they need to just rest and recuperate. But we all put our minds into like all of this evolving. Universal basic income. Totally, really all we need to do to create nirvana on Earth. We got the brains and the smarts. I'm not saying it'd be easy. I'm saying this is a good question to ask. Stop with futzing all of the solutions in the silos. Stop with creating, you know, how many new charities are created every year? Because all kinds of new niches of, let's fix all of the problems. Then people don't need to be thought of as victims requiring charity. Yeah, there'll be natural disasters and emergencies and stuff. But charity sort of like, just like businesses, when you put a structure around something, it becomes very rigid and fragile. Monoculture agriculture. We all know a little bit about this. When you don't have a thriving ecosystem, when you don't have all sorts of different evolving plants and small mammals and insects, when they're all not in biodynamic harmony, when it's just corn after 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 corn. You deplete all the nutrients. You decimate the replenishment of nutrients. You create the Dust Bowl effect, because the soil just isn't vibrant anymore. There just isn't the range of life that creates the new nutrients all auto-naturally. Nature is what made the soil so rich and abundant, not petrochemical products. We need we actually do need the biomass of all those insects doing their job, living their lives fully, and they die. Insect carcasses litter the earth. I mean, there's not any contractors sucking up insect carcasses. So the biomass of insects, we know how massive this is. You don't test me. The places I can go, but this is a very good argument. It's a very good argument. I had not went to this place before. So when I end up going spectacular, Deb, this is really, really good. Because it is, I mean, it's a fundamental truth. So as a stand-up comedy, great, you gotta love talking about poo. Girl or no girl. Talking about insect carcasses, insect poo. Like it's all laying around the ground. We're just not, we didn't read a book about it, but it's all being absorbed into the nutrient profile of the soil, the soil. Because we don't want petrochemicals, the pesticides that kill the pests. Well, the pests just fall to the ground and become the soil, or become the feed of the chickens that make your eggs. Just as instantaneously as you put those chemicals in to make those bugs dead, those dead chemically treated bugs make their way right into you via the food chain. Evolutionary logic. Oh, I don't play with this mic drop shit. Nothing discordant about how profound I am. How profound are you, Debbie? How? Well, I'm just going to say harmony, y'all.